Hey guys, it's Mr. Gary coming to you live once again with Story Time with Mr. Gary. And I just told Simone that I ate at the Rainbow Diner this morning. Chris and I, it's one of our favorite places to go eat. Chris likes the bacon, egg, and cheese on a hard roll. I usually get 2 eggs over easy, but it was so nice. Yes, it was outside in the parking lot, but they had the tents and all the waiters and waitresses and bus people there. So it was really, really nice to kind of feel like things are starting to get back to normal. David is here, Connor's here, Adrian's here, Jaden's here. All my friends, well, not all of them, but a bunch of them are here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. That's the sign language for thank you. If you don't know that, just do you know the sign language for you're welcome? Hand out like this way, you bring it out to the person. So it's like, thank you, you're welcome. Sign language for today. So the book today is called The Cool Bean. Hey, Riley and Dominic, how are you? By Jory Jong and Pete Oswald, the #1 New York Times best-selling team. If you didn't know that, I didn't know that. I don't even know who they are, but they write pretty good books. So The Cool Bean, that's the bean. Look at him with his bow tie. Mr. Gary rocks a bow tie once in a while. Not everyone can carry a bow tie. Mr. Gary, I could carry it. I have a puzzle-shaped bow tie. I have a silver bow tie. All right, I got 2 bow ties. So The Cool Bean. Look at these guys. They look cool. And there's a lot of nice little hidden jokes in this word play, which I always like. So it's all about beans. So it's Beanside Elementary School, home of the pods, because beans grow in pods. All right, watch out, everybody. Here comes the Cool Beans. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, the Cool Beans. I like the guy in the middle. It's like, oh, yeah, that's me. I'm the Cool Bean. Oh, yeah, check out how they move. Look at the way they swagger. Notice their sunglasses. Yow. Those are the Cool Beans. The Cool Beans are known all over school, from house to house, across town, beyond county lines. Oh, you're a big deal when people know you beyond your county lines. Now, in the old days, our friend here who's writing the book, in the olden days, last year, we were all one big pod of beans, and we're a mixed bag, but somehow it worked. Everyone's hanging out together. Yep, those were the good old days. And then we stopped seeing each other as much. That's just how it is sometimes. You spend less time together, even though you're not totally sure why. You ever have that? You have a friend, and you like them, you hang out, and then all of a sudden, you think, well, I really don't talk to them as much. Don't know why. I watched as the beans I knew so well, the beans from my own pod, became the Cool Beans. And they were so cool. So he kind of felt like his friends kind of left him maybe, or they were just different from him. But they were so cool, he thought. One of them could play the guitar, cool. One of them could draw the best superheroes, cool. And one of them could jump higher than any other being I've ever known, super cool. Oh, Peter and Vinny, good morning. And Shane. Adrian, I'm sorry to hear about your cousin. Me? You mean him? Me? Well, I mostly stayed the same. Sure, I made some small changes. I wore sunglasses, but they were too big. And here's one of the jokes I talked about. The name of the sunglasses was Ray-Bean. Instead of Ray-Ban, which is a famous brand of eyeglasses, Ray-Bean, because he's a bean. I just find that funny. He slicked back his hair, but too slick. He strutted around, but always stubbed his toe. He swaggered, and he would slip and fall on banana peels or whatever was on the ground. So he was trying to be cool. But as he says, I was told picked last for everything. His clothes never seemed to fit, and he snorted when he laughed. You know, it's like, oh. And he walked into stuff all the time. He felt like an uncool being for sure. So I started thinking of myself and just as a common being with no special skills. I couldn't compete, so I didn't even try. I will never be a cool being. So he looked at these other people that were doing better than him, and because he thought he's never going to be as good as them, he just stopped trying. And he just, I think, felt bad about himself rather than practice. It seemed like there were two types of beings in the world. There were the cool beings, and then the beings like me. Felt kind of bad for that being, huh? The days all blended together. I lived my life and things were just okay. I took tests and I ate lunches, but I mostly kept by myself. And he would watch all the cool beans hang out. Kind of feeling a little lonely, I think. I mean, sure, I missed them a bit, but it's not like I was going to say anything. I felt like all that coolness has gotten in the way of our friendship. And that's how it went until one day. So, see, that being didn't think he had anything in common with his old friends. So, our hero of the story, I was in the cafeteria and I dropped my lunch on my loafers. That's like your shoes. Oh, no, not again, because he used to do that all the time. But then something sort of miraculous happened. Out of nowhere, one of the cool beans helped me clean it up. He didn't even say anything. He just gave me a nod, and that was it. Later, I was out on the playground, and I tripped and scraped my knee, and okay, maybe I cried just a little bit, and everybody saw it. But another one of the cool beans came to my side, and without a word, he dusted me off and even helped put a Band-Aid on my leg. That afternoon, I was sitting in class and I really wasn't paying attention. Have you ever done that? Mr. Gary used to do that. Sometimes I would just wander around thinking about other things, listening to the teacher, and they sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher. Quack, 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 quack. And I didn't notice, but our teacher called on me. Everyone stared, and I sat there in silence, and nobody said anything. And then everyone just laughed at me. That was it. After today, I was officially a has-been. Has-been, like has-been. Very cute. But then one of the cool beans stood up, came over to me. Everybody watched, and she leaned in close and she whispered, "Hey, the teacher asked you to read from page 32. Then she gave me a quick wink and went back to her seat. It was a small gesture, sure, but it was also everything. And look, The Great Gatsby. Is that The Great Gatsby? Famous book, famous movie. I don't know. I just like when they do the puns on the word. I walked home with a goofy smile on my face. You ever have that? I have the goofy smile. If I'm really happy, I'm like, Mr. Gary's goofy smile. Ready? That's it. I smiled all the way through dinner because he was so happy. That day, it made all the difference. It was a day that could have been really, really bad if not for the kindness of a few cool beans. It gave me a shred of confidence. That shred of confidence has continued to grow. Look at him. He feels like a, Wonder Woman or Superman, ready to take on the world. And look at him. Somebody had my back because he knew the cool beans, they were super cool, but look, they still helped him out. Or maybe a few somebodies, just not the one, but all of the ones. After that, I started hanging out with the cool beans again. Hey, how have you been? Get it? How have you been? Not all the time, but sometimes. At lunch, after school, even on the weekends. Oh, that's nice, hanging out with his old friends again. throughout all of this, I realized it's not about how you look or any of that other stuff, like he threw away the hair gel and the glasses. It's about a wink or a nod or a smile just at the right moment. It's about dusting somebody off, helping them up again, and pointing them in the right direction. So look, the other little bean fell and dropped his books. So the bean of the story came over. Hey, you need a hand? Helped them out. And the other bean said, now that's cool. That was it. And look, oh yeah, now he's walking down the hallway. I like the message of that story about just helping out everybody. I don't know, probably a bunch of you have seen Mr. Gary talking your schools at school assemblies. Maybe Miss Simone and I were both there, or sometimes it's just Mr. Gary. And I always talk about picking on people because when I was little, I had a speech impediment. I had trouble talking, and kids used to make fun of me all the time. And all I needed was like one person to stick up for me. And I had a few. That were my really, really good friends, and they always had my back, and I had theirs. And I always tell all of my students I talk to that there's a lot more good people out there than bad, a lot more good people than bad. So if you see someone being nasty or rude or mean to somebody, that's the time that we stick up and say, hey, we don't do that here. What you're doing is wrong. And it's okay to say that, got to stick up for the person. Because I know sometimes, Mr. Gary, I'm the one that might have fell down on the ground and somebody else helped pick me up. And that just made me feel so much better. So when I get a chance to see somebody who fell down or somebody was doing something nasty, or maybe someone was just having a bad day, and go up to them and say, hey, guys, it's okay. And sometimes just a nod or a wink or just to say everything's okay makes all the difference and kind of makes us all feel like the cool bean. So I'm getting hungry. I want a bean salad. I don't know if that's wrong. I feel like I'm eating all the characters from the book, but that does sound good to me. Later on today, guys, we got a treat for you. We got our friend Danny from Zoo Jersey live at 1 p.m. He is one of the coolest guys I know. He's definitely a cool bean. Definitely. Oh, where is that? A cool bean. See, Mr. Gary is trying to be cool, and I held it upside down. Maybe I'm not so cool, but Danny is definitely cool. He's one of the coolest guys I know. And what's cool about him, he even has cooler friends and pets that are animals, and he's going to be showing us some really, really neat things. So make sure you set your Alexa device to remind you to get on there, say at 12:55, a couple minutes before, to see all the incredible animals that Danny is going to bring us. And tomorrow's book, what am I reading tomorrow? Oh, Elephant Piggy. I tell you, I love those. I really like slop. Slop is something they feed pigs. It kind of looks like a giant beef stew. Mr. Gary's not so into stew. People are always trying to get Mr. Gary to eat stew. Everything that's cooked in a crock pot, Mr. Gary says it tastes the same, but all of my friends are trying to convince me different. And I think that's the premise of the book tomorrow, that Piggy's trying to get the elephant, his buddy, Gerald, to try some slop. So that's going to be interesting because I love those Elephant and Piggy books. And we have another book later in the week all about seagull poop. I know, guys, I don't know why we read so many stories about poop, but it's a coming. It's a coming. So I know those are one of my favorite stories. So I guess that's it. Miss Simone, can we think of anything else that we need to talk about? Miss Simone said no. She said no. So I'm getting excited. We do have stuff planned, and we're going to add stuff all the time. Make sure you look for it. And until I see you, I'll see you at the Zoo Jersey thing today at 1. So I can't wait to see you guys then. I love you, Mr. Gary. Peace out. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.